What's up, folks? This is Billy from BillyGoesHiking.com, and this is my Smokies recap video. So I am not in the Smokies currently. I am in Hot Springs, North Carolina, taking a 0 day today, so no miles hiked today, which I'm looking forward to. But I am walking around town a little bit. It's a really cool town, and it's one of the places, I don't know how many are like this, where the AT actually runs right through the center of town. So the sidewalk on Main Street has the blazes of where the trail goes, which is pretty neat. But the purpose of this video is to talk about the Smokies. So we ran through the 72-mile stretch of Great Smoky Mountain National Park on the AT going northbound starting Monday of last week. It took us 5 days. I walked with Aquadog and a few other folks, but AD and I were kind of planning to actually walk together during the day, and that's what we did. So we split it up as a 12-mile day, a 12-mile day, a 12-mile day, a 20-mile day, and an 18-mile day to cap it off. So we were pleased with that. It's difficult hiking, but we had a good time. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is, if I've talked to you in person or if you watch some of my other videos or read some of my blog posts, you know that the Smokies has been this kind of intimidating, looming thing for us to accomplish as we've been hiking here. So I wanted to talk a little bit about why that is, and then I wanted to talk a little bit about the context of why this update video is set up the way that it is, and then we'll jump into the actual footage from the trail through the Smokies. So why are the Smokies this big deal? I think there's three reasons that I've identified. I'm sure that there are others that other people might consider, but to me, the first and probably biggest reason why the Smokies are this kind of scary objective going northbound is the weather. So it's really unpredictable, and going northbound, you can look at the forecast at Clingman's Dome, which is the highest point, actually on the whole AT, but also the highest point in the stretch through the Smokies, and you can see what the weather's like there. There's a weather radar up there, but you're looking at it from Fontana Dam, which it usually takes about 6 days to get through the Smokies. So you may not get up to those higher altitude points where the weather is a little more serious until day 3 or even day 4. And it can change a lot pretty quickly, as we found out. So we were looking at the forecast when we were leaving Fontana, but it doesn't help you all that much. So super variable weather, a lot of wind, a whole lot of precipitation, a lot of rain, a lot of snow. This time of year, especially, very, very unpredictable. So that's one thing. The second thing is it's objectively probably the most difficult hiking that you do to this point in your hike if you're going northbound. Don't get me wrong, Georgia's tough, North Carolina's tough. You get into Tennessee, you get into the Smokies, a lot of elevation change, a lot of ups and downs, pretty much every day. It just hits you day after day after day. So challenging hiking. And the third reason is it's a little bit more remote than some of the hiking that you've done, thus far. So what I mean by that is up until the Smokies, at any given point, if I needed to bail out and go into a town and get food or whatever, it's really easy to do that. You're like a day, maybe 2 days away from the nearest town. The Smokies are a little bit different. So let's say, so like I said, the average time to get through is about 6 days. About halfway through, you come across Newfound Gap, which is a parking lot that has a 13-mile road going down to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Some people will pack out 3 days of food and plan to go into town in Gatlinburg and get more food and then come back and do the next 3 days. However, especially this time of year, that road's not always open. So if it's freezing, if there's really bad weather conditions, they'll close that road. So if you only brought 3 days of food and you get up there and you don't have any food left, you get to walk down the 13 miles to Gatlinburg, which wasn't an appealing option for Aquadog and myself. So we made the decision that we were going to just pack 6 days of food and plan to go straight through. And that's what we did. We got through in 5 days. But that's challenging as well because then you're carrying a lot more food on your back than you're used to. I eat about 2 pounds of food a day. So 6 days plus a little extra contingency, I was probably carrying 15 pounds of food on my back, which is more than I'm used to. So that makes it challenging as well. So that's, I think, at least in my mind, the reasons why the Smokies are kind of viewed as this big challenging objective. The second thing I'll talk about real quick before we jump into the actual footage is the format of this video. So initially, my plan was hey, my family, my friends have really been enjoying these kind of short update videos. I'll just shoot one each day that I'm in the Smokies, and I'll upload it. I'm gonna turn around because there's a guy mowing his lawn. It's kind of loud, but my plan was, hey, I'll shoot these update videos daily, and I'll go ahead and post them in real time. I mentioned the Smokies is a little bit remote. I should have had the foresight to know the signal wasn't going to be great while I was out there. So I wasn't able to upload anything. We had a little bit of cell service at Newfound Gap and at a couple of the shelters along the way, but it was nothing that would have been good enough to upload a video. So if you watch these videos and they look like they're meant to be standalone, that's because they were. But ultimately, I decided that, post Smokies, now that I'm in town for a 0 day, I'm just going to stitch them all together. And the other reason that I wanted to do that is because there are 2 days where I wasn't able to get any video footage. So day 2, pretty much the whole day was either really dense fog or it was raining. And I don't really like to shoot video in those conditions. I don't like to get my electronics wet if I don't have to. And something like shooting a video is definitely not a necessity. So no video for day 2. And then day 5, somewhere along the way on day 4, I dropped the bolt that holds my trekking pole attachment that I'm using to shoot this video. So I couldn't use it anymore. And there are definitely people that, can hold the camera with their hand or set it up against something. But that just wasn't high priority for me on day 5. We were just trying to get out of the snow, get out of the Smokies. So I decided what I'd do instead is I'm going to put in some pictures to this video and then kind of voice over what was going um, on those days. So hopefully that won't be too distracting or too confusing the way things are kind of linked together. But again, like I said, I just wanted to kind of do a recap of the time in the Smokies. It turned out to be a fantastic adventure. I think we got really lucky overall with the weather conditions. It would have been significantly more challenging if it had been, 5, 10 degrees colder. And the people that are walking into the Smokies right now, that's what it's going to be like for them. So we got really lucky with the timing. We got to see kind of 4 seasons of Smokies all in 5 days, which is really, really cool and special. We got a lot of views that oftentimes people don't get just because of the fog. They call them the Great Smoky Mountain National Park, or they call them the Smoky Mountains because of that fog that envelops a lot of the mountains up there. So we just had a blast. And like I said, I just wanted to share this with you guys. So I hope you enjoy. And without further ado, here is the day 1. We'll start off with day 1 and we'll just run through it. And thanks as always for the support. And thanks for watching. What's up, folks? This is Billy from BillyGoesHiking.com. Just walked up from Fontana Dam to the top of the Shuck Stack. It's an old fire tower. Having to be a little careful. The floor is not awesome. You can just get a full 360 view of the Smokies here. It's super windy up here. I don't know if you'll be able to hear me well or not, but my buddy Grant is getting ready to do a flip flop in the AT with his wife starting in May. And when I told him I was heading to the Smokies, he said he wanted a picture from the top of the Shuck Stack. So Grant, I'm gonna do you one better than that picture. Cheers to you, man. Let's go.
So this was the view from the top of Rocky Top. It was pretty much like all the views that we got on this day. Just couldn't see anything, squinting to be able to see the camera, and no views in the background. So, like I said, it was pretty foggy, pretty rainy. And this photo here is Aquadog from the rear, and this just gives you an idea of the conditions we were walking through. So this was one of the breaks in rain, but you can see the trail itself was just very flooded, so it made it for some slow travel, but we got through it, and it was a pretty good time.
Hi folks, how's it going? This is Billy from BillyGoesHiking.com. This is my day 3 in the Smokies update. So far in the Smokies, day 1 was awesome. A lot of climbing, good weather. The winds got pretty wild at night. We stayed in Molly's Ridge shelter. So it's about a 14-mile day because we started from Fontana Marina. Yesterday, day 2, we did about 12 from Molly's Ridge to Eric's Knob. Left there this morning and just had the most beautiful day you can imagine. But as the Smokies like to do, started getting a little bit overcast. We're walking right now from Siler's Bald up to Clingman's Dome. So Clingman's Dome, highest point on the AT. Really excited. Hopefully we'll get some good views, but we're not holding our breath because the weather's coming, whether we like it or not. So I figured I'd go ahead and shoot an update video. You know, the Smokies have just been such a gift. It is tremendously challenging hiking, great weather, with a good group of folks. Been able to sleep pretty well at night. So far, the weather's been better than average, but it looks like today's the day that's going to turn. So this may be my last update video from the Smokies. I don't really like to film in the rain, and it looks like it'll either be raining or possibly snowing for the rest of the time that we'll be out here, starting in the next couple hours. So wish us luck. We're just loving it out here. I don't really want it to end, to be honest, but it will, and we'll keep moving, and hopefully shoot some more videos soon. Thanks as always for the support. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Thanks. What's up, folks? This is Billy from BillyGoesHiking.com. This is day 4 in the Smokies. You probably saw from my video update yesterday, I wasn't sure if there were going to be any more video updates because when we left Fontana Dam, the forecast was pretty negative looking. We thought we were going to get a lot of precipitation. So we did, but a lot of it was last night and this morning. So we camped at Mount Collins last night. The weather up at Clingman's Dome, there were gusts of wind up to 70 miles an hour. We got a pretty substantial amount of rain, but the temperatures never dropped below freezing, which was nice. We shipped out this morning and walked through some pretty heavy rain all the way to Newfound Gap. And once we got there and got internet service and took a look at the forecast as of today, it looks a lot more positive. So what you're seeing, and hopefully you can see the view all around me, I'm sitting at Charlie's Bunyan here. So we're just a little ways off from Newfound Gap. I got Aquadog in the mix. And we're just kicking it. We're going to rest our feet here a little bit. We're going to try and get a 20-mile day in today if I can convince AD, and then have an easy stroll out of the Smokies tomorrow. It looks like we'll probably get some snow tonight, which will be really cool. But other than that, no more expected precipitation. Temperatures kind of just below freezing, so not too crazy. Pretty good hiking weather, and we obviously are super fortunate to have the weather that we've got today. We've got some pretty cool views up here. So thanks so much for watching. Thanks as always for the support, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
This was the view waking up there at Tricorner Knob Shelter after the snow. You can see Great Value was cooking his breakfast and was just mad that he was the first one to get out of his quilt. It was very cold and a lot of snow on the ground, but we were ready to take off into it. This is a picture of the trail kind of from the higher elevation where you can see the snow on the ground that we walked through for the better part of the day. And then once it started melting, it just became kind of a muddy mess again. And like I said, no video from that day just because I did drop that stick clip bolt. But